If you like The Witcher on Netflix, you've already heard the news. Henry Cavill's role as Geralt will be taken over by Liam Hemsworth in Season 4, which may or may not have something to do with the fact that Cavill's career as Superman in the DCEU had recently been given a boost. Sophie Holland, who is in charge of casting for The Witcher, has no doubt found the best replacement for Henry Cavill. Hemsworth, who played Peeta in The Hunger Games, has the looks and skills to play the strong Geralt of Rivia. But Cavill plays the role so well that many fans have been hitting the eject button when they heard about the recasting. This is a pretty clear sign that the franchise will fail, since it's named after the main character's day job. Every live-action Superman will eventually be compared to Christopher Reeve, which is a good comparison for Cavill. In the same way, Hemsworth now has the seemingly impossible task of wearing his predecessor's silver wig with the right amount of roughness and grace. In reality though, Cavill has been giving hints for a long time that he doesn't like the Witcher franchise on Netflix. The problem comes from the fact that he likes the books and games that inspired the show. He clearly wanted to be a part of a faithful adaptation that brought to life everything he loved about Andrzej Sapkowski's books and those old games. The creative team behind The Witcher, on the other hand, has shown very little respect for the source material. And the story seems to be getting further and further away from the one Cavill loves. Robbie Amell was cast as what seems to be a major elf character who doesn't even exist in Sapkowski's books, which is already a sign that Season 3 of The Witcher will be different from the books. The writing team for The Witcher and showrunner Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich probably don't plan to stay true to the source material in the future. This led to creative differences that made Cavill feel like he couldn't be a part of the hit Netflix show anymore. Some fans will be very angry about this, and it will make future seasons of The Witcher even more controversial. This sort of thing has been done before, just ask the James Bond movies. The difference here is that if Hemsworth turns out to be a George Lazenby, it seems unlikely that viewers or Netflix will give The Witcher another chance. But could the show actually do it? Could The Witcher keep going if Henry Cavill wasn't in it? The answer could be yes, but only if the show remembers these things. First, let Hemsworth deal with the Wild Hunt, the huge number of untold story on The Witchers before Hemsworth is probably the best thing about his time on the show. There are still a lot of storylines that fans can really get into. Just from a cultural point of view, this means that the show almost has to dive headfirst into the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt pool to make up for having to change the cast. The show has already shown that the Wild Hunt will play a part in what comes next. Voleth Mir, played by Anya Marson, is a big part of Season 2, and it turns out that she's a dark elf who works for the Wild Hunt. The Hunt also makes a short but suitable scary appearance in the last episode of the season, so Eredin Briot Glass and his crew should be on their way to find Ciri soon. But here's an important question about the show's future. When is the Wild Hunt going to start moving?
The Wild Hunt are something in the books that are only mentioned a couple of times, but we also knew that our audience was going to expect them to show up, because some people have played The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So they are something that we started planting in Season 1. Another name for them is the Wraiths of Morhog.
Adding villains from other worlds could easily keep the show going for a few more seasons. Since Cavill is leaving the show after the next season, the best time to introduce the Wild Hunt would be in the Season 3 finale. This would be a hard-to-resist cliffhanger that could bring fans back for the next season, with or without Cavill. Henry Cavill originally agreed to do The Witcher for 7 seasons, and since the Nilfgaardian storyline is likely to take up a lot of Season 3's time, the Wild Hunt could rest for most of the season, only to start up again when it would be best for Hemsworth to join the cast in Season 4. But if the timing is wrong, there's a chance that a large number of viewers will leave with Cavill. Other characters will make or break The Witcher Season 4. The good news is that it doesn't look like the rest of The Witcher's cast is going anywhere. And a lot of them are very good. Main characters Ciri, Freya Allan, and Yennefer of Vengerberg, Anya Chalotra are still around. But other characters like Cahir, Eamon Farron, Triss Merigold, Anna Schaefer, and Jaskier, Joey Beatty, have grown into their own over the past 2 seasons. They've shown, along with many other characters, that they can definitely carry a scene. So even if we assume the worst and think Hemsworth will fail or lose the fan support, there are still plenty of other reasons to watch the show while he is on it. But what if one or more of these characters mess up in The Witcher? What if someone like Ciri or even Vesemir, Kim Bodnia, has to be recast and fans don't like that? What if the writers try to make up for it by putting secondary characters in the spotlight all of a sudden, only for them to annoy people to death through overexposure and weak attempts to repeat the success of toss a coin to your Witcher? Sorry, Jaskier, many fans think that making such stupid choices would just add to the annoying background noise of the Cavill recasting. If you make enough mistakes, it won't be long before the noise gets loud enough to make the fans stop watching. However, The Witcher will survive if it relies on its strengths, but perish if it overreaches. Whether you like it or not, Season 4 of The Witcher looks like it will be a turning point for the show. If the show can keep track of its large number of characters, come up with interesting plots, and smoothly switch from Cavill to Hemsworth, it will have overcome a challenge. That puts Geralt's worst enemies in the world of the true Witcher to shame. As long as Netflix's algorithms are on its side, it will be unbeatable. If not, well, it was fun while it lasted, so that's something. Remember that The Witcher has everything he needs to make the change happen. Really, if Hemsworth is as good as everyone seems to think he will be, all the show needs to do is keep doing what it has been doing the whole time. However, when the stakes are high and the show's biggest star is leaving, many people may all of a sudden have ideas about how to change the plot or put more attention on certain characters. Maybe new, non-canon characters who definitely shouldn't be brought in will be brought in anyway. There may be a temptation to change the source material in ways that aren't necessary, or to cut corners where they aren't needed. There's no reason to think The Witcher will fall into this trap, and jumping the shark is hard to do in a high fantasy world where it would just be another Tuesday if they did. Still, The Witcher might be in big trouble if they can't stop messing with what works. Either to draw attention away from the recasting or to give the new lead some fire support. With all this in mind, do you believe The Witcher will survive without Henry? Comment below.